Do you struggle to get OpenClaw to control your web browser reliably and efficiently? If so, this video is for you. Today we are breaking down the entire browser use tech stack into 4 clear layers, so you can finally understand how OpenClaw interacts with the web at every level. By the end, you will know how to automate the browser without relying on screen capture, saving you a huge amount of tokens and boosting performance. Let's dive in. OpenClaw, being an intelligent, open source AI agent, supports many tools. So here we explore 4 different methods of getting the web work done, web-related tasks. Ignore the exact order of these 4 layers. Just think these are 4 different ways that we can get them. So number 1, we call it web search and web fetch, which is the default tool from OpenClaw. It's really good to use with basic static website that does not require logins. And then we have my favorite, which helps me with my workflow, which is let OpenClaw to control your browser with your profile, because this is most useful workflow for myself. And then you have the OpenClaw managed profile, which I'll explain later. So you can see the browser get launched, but it has a OpenClaw as a browser profile. It's a blank profile, it won't have anything. It mostly works. The only problem is some of the social media websites, they perform very active, aggressive bot detections. And when they see a blank profile like that, usually they will block you from signing in. Now lastly, we have the classic Playwright, which is useful in some cases, and it's a good fallback. Let's have a look how they work one by one. Web fetch and web search is like a standard tool that you can see it in many other agents. They all support it. The web fetch tool does a plain HTTP get and extract readable content, HTML to Markdown. It does not execute JavaScript. For JavaScript heavy or login protect pages, you should use web browser. We'll explain the web browser later. Now what is web search? Web search tool searches the web using your configure provider and return results. Results are cached by query for 15 minutes. So when you find another search, you will go to the cache first to save some of your tokens. Web search is a lightweight HTTP tool, not a browser automation. For JavaScript heavy website, use web browser, so it's saying the same thing. To fetch a specific URL, use web fetch. Now, one thing you need to be careful is web search, although it's a built-in tool, you do need a API keys. So you will need an API key that here recommended a Brave. So you can get a Brave API key for free, which give you 1,000 requests a day, I think. But the web fetch is just a free tool you're gonna use. So let me show you where they are. Mine is already configured. So to get back to the configuration, you just type OpenClaw config -- section and web. Now first thing that come up is, would you like to configure the web search? Because web search is the one that requires API keys. So if I do yes, and you can see these are the supported providers, and they all require API keys. So if you have the API keys, I started with Brave, 1,000. It's not a lot, but it's free. And then you have even a Firecrawl, which is excellent. I read some reviews. Apparently this is one of the best. Then you have Kimi, Grok, Gemini, and even Perplexity, which is great. But they all need APIs, which cost you money. So if you want to experience it, start with your Brave search, which give you a free credit, 1,000 query a day. Next is the web fetch. Web fetch is specifically useful when you want to fetch a particular URL, and this is a free tool. It comes with the OpenClaw, so you just go yes, and that's it. It does not require anything, and your OpenClaw will know when to use it. Next, let's have a look at the browser that OpenClaw controls. It's called OpenClaw Managed Browser. OpenClaw can run a dedicated Chrome, Brave, Edge, Chromium profile that agent controls. It is isolated from your personal browser and is managed through a local control service. Now the key here is isolated, and by default it always goes with the Chrome. Now the problem with isolated is, as I said before at the beginning of the video, a lot of social media platform has very aggressive anti-bot detection, and they will block you from signing in, and that defeats our purpose, which is mainly I'm using it for social media workflow. So OpenClaw Managed Browser is a separate agent-only browser. But OpenClaw does not touch your personal browser profile. The agent can open tabs, read page, click and type. And the built-in user profile attached to your real sign-in Chrome session via Chrome MCP. Next, let's have a look in my OpenClaw. Start an OpenClaw controlled browser session. I don't know whether this one still works because mine is actually configured in such a way that usually it does not activate that because it's no use for me. So let's see whether it actually will open a browser session that has an OpenClaw user profile in it. So it actually didn't do it. It said it did it, but it's not OpenClaw controlled. So let's try it again. So you are not configured for it because in our rule, we don't use it. But I'm doing a YouTube demo, so I want you to show that what OpenClaw control browser look like. And you can demo it by using the Chrome-based browser. So I also send the link from OpenClaw's website and see whether it actually will launch it this time. So actually it didn't work. In both cases, it thinks it has opened browser as OpenClaw profile, but it didn't. Which means my system is working very well, and this is exactly what I wanted to do. Use my user profile. So I won't ask it keep trying in case I break it, because I spent a lot of time trying to make it working, not to use OpenClaw profile. Next, let me show you the real reason why you are here. Agent browser. We want our OpenClaw to control our browser with our own sign-in, with our own profile, so they can act upon us as human. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use agent browser by itself, and this is their GitHub repo. Let's have a quick read. What is agent browser? Headless browser automation CLI for AI agents. So it is made for AI agents. You will not download stuff that's not needed. You will only get the most crucial information, none of the fluff, and it's very lightweight. Now this is all the instruction which you don't need to read. All you need to do is just tell your OpenClaw to do it, set it up by pasting the link. It says it's headless, but it is also headed. Can be run headed. That's how we can log in for our AI agent. Now here is a very important part. Why it didn't work for me at the very beginning. The agent browser uses Chrome, which is a Chrome it's called Chrome for testing, Google's official automation channel. So that's what's come with it. And the problem with agent browser by default is this Chrome for testing is considered a bot-driven browser, and it will automatically be blocked by your social media. So if you use agent browser and try to go to the X, for example, you can't log in. You'll get blocked. So the trick is, how can we use agent browser, which is highly lightweight, efficient, designed for agent, but not relying on Chrome, and use something else. And that something else is Edge. And the reason we did that is Chrome browser has a debugging port that used to open on 9222, and that's how you can control it. But on the latest update after 1.4.6, it's been blocked. So the agent can't really use it effectively. However, on Microsoft Edge, that is not blocked. That is still open. So this was my biggest challenge. When I start to use Chrome with the agent browser, most interactive website, it won't work, especially a social media website. And then as I was using Cursor, I discovered Cursor can do that with Edge via the same technique called Edge CDP. CDP stands for Chrome, I think it's Chrome Development Protocol, something like that. So I went back to OpenClaw and instructed to modify the global config for the agent browser so it will point to the Edge installation instead of Chrome on the computer. Because Edge is a Chromium based, so in theory it should work, and it did work. Now I've asked, explain how we use agent browser with Edge and how you control with Edge CDP. So we run Microsoft Edge in header mode with CDP on port 9222. Then OpenClaw's browser tooling attaches to the live browser instead of launching a fresh profile. That's how we keep the real logins. Now why we use Edge, not Chrome? Chrome blocks CDP attachment to the default real user profile in the way we need, because they want you to use Chrome for tests, not the actual Chrome. But Edge allows remote debugging on real profile, so automation can reuse your existing authenticated sessions. And this is how we set it up. I don't know whether it mentioned that we actually modified the global config for agent browser, so it will point to the Microsoft Edge. And there is also a script that OpenClaw runs. When it detects the debugging port is not open, it will kill the Edge process and relaunch it. OpenClaw connects to Edge CDP WebSocket endpoint. Then it drives the tab pages via CDP. After navigation load, we snapshot again because interaction reference might expire. Just highlight this snapshot is different from screenshot. This is DOM-based snapshot. It just grab the information is minimum. Like you see in the when you F12 your web browser, you see all those DOMs and all the information. It's not taking an image as a screenshot. So let's try something fun. Use Edge CDP, open a new tab to ChatGPT and search what's going on in the Middle East today. Now I already signed into my Edge profile before, but now the Edge is closed. Let's wait for it to open and see whether it can navigate to the site and does a search. Let's try something fun. Use Edge CDP, open a new tab to ChatGPT and search what's going on in the Middle East today. Make sure Edge launches with dark mode enabled by default. And you have to do that because sometimes it just launches a very bright white screen for you. It just forgets. Okay, so it opened up the ChatGPT. Didn't follow exactly what we asked to do, and now it's on the bright screen. And it's gonna type what's going on Middle East today. And you can see this is my personal browser profile. Let's go back to, I already launched Edge with dark mode. It didn't work, but that's okay. And force Mac OS appearance dark mode. Right. So you just witnessed how OpenClaw can control your browser, and actually this is using your ChatGPT. So this is one use case. Let's try another one. Next, go to my X account and leave a thoughtful comment to OpenClaw's X account. So the idea is, because we keep talking about social media platforms, you have to use your own profile. The OpenClaw controlled or managed browser profile is not gonna work. So first you need to change from Chrome to Edge and let them use Edge CDP. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna build these cron jobs that follow your instruction happens a few times a day that does things you want them to do. For example, leaving comments, provide engagement, or create content. So as you can see, our OpenClaw is controlling our browser. I already signed into my X account, but it went to find the OpenClaw account. Now it's gonna find a post, and hopefully it will leave a meaningful, well-crafted comment. Just gonna switch back. Okay, it's already doing it. So OpenClaw released 3.28. It find that post, seems like that's the latest post, and it is going to love seeing OpenClaw keep shipping this fast, and done. And if we come to here, how do we see the comments? Should be the first one. No, that's the wrong post. Found 23.28. Yeah, this is the one. That's our comment. And says done. I posted thoughtful reply on OpenClaw. Last thing is the Playwright, which most of you already very familiar. It's a open source. It's been there for a while, long time. In OpenClaw, you can use that as well. How to use it? Just tell OpenClaw to use it. Usually I don't. It's mainly for web automations, but it will have the same problem with browser control, bot detections. So I do have it as a backup, and I don't use it actively. So this is a very short tutorial, and the key is to use Agent Browser with Edge CDP instead of Chrome. Okay, so you need to tell your OpenClaw to modify the global config to make sure Agent Browser always uses the Edge, and you need to install Edge for a computer. And the reason we use that is because we want OpenClaw to be able to use our browser with our profile and manage the tabs we already signed in for them. So it's a good practice if you're signing everything for it, and then you can go set up these cron jobs that does things throughout the day, and all it does is just go to your Edge tab and perform these tasks. Next one, I will do a detailed my social media workflow video and show you how I run different social platforms. Okay, so thank you for watching. See you next time.